just so powerful.
It's unreal.
Really good fish, whatever it is.
That is a chunk.
So in today's video, me and Lewis are going to be taking you through two amazing sessions we had over summer. So the lake can actually be quite a hard, challenging lake at some times, and we're really happy with how we done. And I managed to land a fish I was very happy with. Whilst the first day didn't go too well, the second day I managed to land one and I was very happy.
So this video is going to be two sessions split into one video. This is just because as like Luke said, we're recapping a bit of fishing we did over the summer, and we did one session where I had a few fish, and then we did another session where it was a bit more eventful and we both managed to catch a few.
So to start off the session, I got here at about 5 PM.
Yeah, you got here about 5 o'clock. I think I got here a little bit later, about half an hour after you did.
Yeah, so upon arrival of the lake, I noticed it was really busy. There's so many cars, so
yeah,
I knew
we didn't think we were going to get a swim at all, did we? I know when I turned up, the entire lake looked completely full. But
yeah, I knew my swim choice was going to be limited, so I didn't really have much choice. So I did a quick lap around the lake, and there was literally 2 pegs left, and neither of them looked too promising. However, I decided to go for the more secluded peg, which was sort of tucked away in a nice corner of the lake.
Nice little bay in the corner of the lake, isn't it?
However, it didn't really go to plan.
No, there was, like Luke said, there was only 2 swims available, the other swim being right on the opposite side of the lake. So we made a bit of a plan, and in the end I just camped in Luke's swim for the night, and we just set an alarm for really early in the morning and made sure we were up at first light just so we could get on the fish and hopefully make the most of the next day.
Yeah, and that certainly paid off for you.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
So that night, all of Lewis's gear was ready on the barrow except his bed, and my gear was all packed up nicely except for my rods and bed, of course. My rods were out and I was fishing. However, that night was completely uneventful.
It was a Sunday evening that night, so we assumed that the lake would clear out a bit the next day, so we woke up at first light, and like we thought it would, there was a lot of people packing up and leaving to go to work. So that morning we'd done a few laps of the lake and we'd found a load of fish feeding really heavily. There's a small channel just between an island and a little peninsula, and there's an oxygenator that sits inside this channel, and there was just hundreds of carp surrounding this area, so we knew straight away that that was the area that we should get onto.
So following on from what Lewis said, as his gear was all barrowed up and we'd found the fish, we quickly got round there, and it certainly paid off.
So we moved straight round there. After we'd seen those fish, we were just so eager to get the rods out. We'd seen so many fish in this area, so we knew that if we were presented and we got a good rig out there, that it was almost impossible not to get a bite. And this was proven, because after about 20 minutes we rigged up both rods and got both rods out onto the spot perfectly, and I think the first rod was out there about 5 minutes and it was away. It screamed off, and yeah, as you'll see on the screen now, it resulted in an amazing common, so hard fighting. It took ages to get it in, but yeah, it was an amazing battle.
I wasn't out
and yeah,
10 minutes, 5 minutes, was it?
Really good fish, whatever it is.
Yeah, that is proper. Literally just using the new crucial baits we got sent, and just unreal. Good fish that, isn't it? Yeah, you don't know what this is. This lake holds fish sort of over 30. This could be a big one. Just had to take the bay alarms off my rods because it absolutely just wiped out my rods. That is a chunk.
It is.
You've had that before. Recapture.
She's just so powerful.
It's unreal. It's putting up a hell of a good fight, isn't it? Oh, that's a well nice fish, mate.
So after an amazing battle, the fish just didn't stop, but eventually when I got it in, it turned out to be a really nice common, long, lean fish, so powerful. The fish was around 19 pounds and yeah, it's just incredible. So I just netted that amazing common, and literally the other rod that was fishing out in that channel absolutely screamed off. So I had the common in the net and the other rod screaming off. So I ran over there and picked the rod up, and straight away I could tell it was a better fish. It felt really heavy, but unfortunately the fish wasn't on there long and it came off. But it was still a good sign. We'd had 2 runs in a very short space of time.
So I was in a peg to the left of Lewis where he had the first fish. He had 2 takes but landed 1 fish. I was in the peg on the left of that, and I didn't really have much action, to be honest. I was fishing one of my rods out to a clear spot, and my left-hand rod was quite close in. I also changed tactics. I used a zig for a while, but no action on that. However, when Lewis had that first common, it absolutely wiped my rods out. It was so hard fighting. It went through both my rods. It was absolute chaos. So there was certainly fish in the spots I was fishing. There was a very clear area amongst the weed, which we located with a drone. You'll see that on the screen now. But I couldn't nick a bite whatsoever.
So after a little while, the rods had been out there sort of an hour or 2 and nothing else was happening, and we'd seen less shows, so I think the fish had moved onto a different area, and we started seeing a few fish crash out in the corner just up from us. So as the lake was almost empty at this point, I decided to reel my rods in off the spot where I'd caught and just moved down to this quiet little corner. And again, the rods weren't out there. I think the rod was out there about 10 minutes and it absolutely screamed off, and again resulted in a really nice mirror. Not the biggest fish in the world, but it was in absolute mint condition, and yeah, fought so hard again. I thought it was a much bigger fish, but still, it was amazing.
Well, I had to record on Lewis's phone. It's got to be a good fish, this. Nice fish. The fight is just unreal. Good fish, this. I was expecting that to be way bigger.
It's fairly big.
Oh yeah, it's a chunk.
Moving on to fish. I saw the fish showing in there. Move.
It's paid off. Well, that's in the net, mate.
As it's such a hard venue, 2 fish in 1 day session was amazing, and it was a great way to end the day.
Them 2 fish Lewis had were absolutely pristine, and watching the fight was enough for me. So this is day 2 of the video. Now this session, we started off the session much earlier. We got here at about 8 o'clock roughly, and we did a few laps of the lake, and it became apparent that the fish were in 2 main areas. Now we decided to get amongst the fish as quickly as possible. So once again, like the previous day, I went for a more secluded swim, sort of tucked away in a nice sort of bay area. So in the secluded bay area, which I chose, the fish were sort of cruising in and out of the area. There was 2 spots I went for. One was near in to the right of me at the end of the bay, and the other one was just out in the open in the middle. So on the rod out in the open, I had a simple slip D rig with the usual tactics I use, so I was mega confident in this one. And the right hand rod just had a Ronnie rig, which I'm also confident in. So for bait, on the slip D I had a snowman style using a Crucial Baits L1 boilie, tipped off with a bright yellow little dumbbell pop-up. And on the right hand rod on the Ronnie rig, I was using a small little 12mm bright pink pop-up from Crucial Baits. And over both spots I was just scattering a few boilies using the throwing stick. These were the L1 15mm Crucial Baits boilies. So about an hour had gone by and I'd just recasted, and about 5 minutes after recasting I was away. Now it was quite a good fish. I was playing it for I'd say a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I was quite far away from Lewis. However, I managed to get him over whilst I was playing the fish, as he could just about hear me. Bolted right down the end of the bay. Well, not right down the end, but it was trying to go right down the end. And I managed to get it back to sort of about the middle, and all of a sudden, it just bolted into lilies. There's a big patch of lilies to the left of me. They're not here now as it's winter, but it was a huge patch of lilies and just went straight into them. I was absolutely gutted.
I ended up going in the swim just up from Luke. It's quite a popular swim. It's well known for doing lots of bites, and like Luke said, we'd seen loads of fish in there that morning, and well, we'd seen it in that area and the place where Luke went, but I think I put the rods out there. It took a few casts to get the rod in the right position, but once it's there, it was absolutely perfect. And I think the rod was out there about half an hour, and eventually it screamed off, and it resulted in this amazing mirror.
It's a nice fish, mate. I reckon that'll hit 20.
Haven't really seen it very well yet.
Yeah, I saw a glimpse of it. It looked decent. I knew one of us were going to get one. I mean, I lost that fish, but now Lewis is in. And looks like he's going to land this one, so hopefully we'll get this one in. Yeah. Just focus on getting it in. Oh, nice fish that, mate. Well done, mate. Awesome.
Look at that for a fish.
Oh, that was a chunk, mate. Well done. Awesome.
What a result that is. I'm not sure how big it is, we haven't weighed it yet, but it's probably a mid-20. After Luke losing that one a little while ago, he was a bit disheartened, but he didn't stop. We carried on trying, and yeah, this was the result. Amazing mirror carp, really fat one. Really
Mega.
happy with this one.
Awesome.
The rod that went off was actually the right-hand rod that was more out in open water, so it was a bit surprising. I was thinking it's more likely for the rod tight to the island to go off, but yeah, the right-hand rod screamed off, and it resulted in an amazing two-tone mirror. It was a brute of a fish. It was absolutely massive, but yeah, it was amazing just to get one, especially from such a hard venue like this.
So it came about 6 PM and I decided to move peg. I moved up the lake sort of into more open water for the night, as this peg was absolutely motionless. So moved into that peg in hope of getting a bite during the night. And my right hand rod was sort of just flicked out a little bit into the open, and that done a bite that night. So this bite resulted in a really nice dark scaly mirror, and I was really happy with this one, especially after losing that fish earlier on in the session.
Well, look at that for a mirror carp. Really chuffed with this one. After losing one yesterday from the peg behind me, got this one. Really lively mirror. Just calmed down a bit, get some photos and slip this one back. Absolutely stunning fish.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, just a little recap about some of the fishing we managed to get up to in the summer. I know there wasn't an awful lot of footage of the fishing and things like that, but we had a great time, a few amazing sessions there, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.